hour or so, I'm going to show you some great ideas. Whether you're holding a party or going to one, or whether you're sending a card or even decorating your house. There's also some great ideas for making your own presents and clever ways of wrapping them up. And I've even got some unique ideas for celebrating Christmas. So let's start at the beginning with ways to decorate your house that will really impress your friends and some special ideas for making parties really sparkle. If you're having a party and you really want to liven it up, what you need are some wild party guests. And here they are. Sneakerweed, wallflower, look at that wild party animal over there. Wild party decorations. Come and have a look there. Take 2 sheets of newspaper. Now, the large newspapers are best for this, and just lay one on top of the other. Just line them up like that, and then it's just a case of drawing your party decorations head right across the newspaper. Now, don't draw anything too fiddly. Make it nice and simple, big and bold. Now, I'm doing sneakerweed. We've got nice big floppy petals here. You could do anything like. You could do sneakerweed. You could do a party animal, an animal's head, a spider or something. When you've done that, carefully hold the 2 pieces together and then cut them out so that you have 2 flower shapes like that. And then just place them down and very carefully staple all the way around the edge. Now, if you haven't got a stapler, you could always tape the edges, but it does work best if you staple this. So try and borrow one if you haven't got one. You may have one at school or something. And when you get to one of these inverts where the 2 petals touch each other, or where they join in like that, just staple across, because this is sometimes a weak point. You can just strengthen it up with the staple. And continue all the way around, obviously being careful when you use the staplers because they can be short on your fingers. Go all the way around, but leave a gap that's big enough to get your hand in. There it is, because we're going to stuff it. We're going to stuff it with strips of newspaper. Just tear up strips of newspaper and shove them in. Now you have to be quite careful with this, otherwise you rip the newspaper bag. There it is, just stuff them in. It's a good idea to stuff the petals first. In it goes. And don't stuff it too much, otherwise it'll burst. The idea is to create a nice fluffy pillow. And when you've done that, staple up the opening and it's ready for painting. Now I've painted this one a nice bright yellow. There it is, nice bright flower yellow. What about an orange face on the other side? And you can use poster or acrylic paint for this, but I kind of use acrylic paint. It dries with a nice skin and it strengthens the job up. And now put detail on the face. Okay, I'm using a permanent marker for this. So I think first we'll do the eyes. There's the eyebrow. And an eye in there. That. You might just have to scrunch your pillow down a bit. It does stand up in places. There it is, round you go. Just make it nice and bold. See? And just do the eye. Over there. And then the other eye. I'm going to do it winking. This. One there, one there, one there. And then a nice big wide mouth, I think. And just make it as crazy as you can. There it goes, right across. Like that. And then maybe put a bit of paint on as well. Nice bright red paint here for his nose. Just give him a silly conk right in the middle there. And what about 2 rosy red cheeks? One there and one there. And make it really cheeky. Just put in a great big tongue. Oh. You might have to take some time over this because it's quite hard drawing on the paper crinkles. But you could always just neaten it up afterwards with some permanent marker. And that's exactly what I've done here. Just gone over it with permanent marker. I've even put some white on the eyes, white highlight, and a white highlight on the nose. And then just thread some string through one of the top petals to hang it up. And then for the streamer, or in the sneakerweed's case, the stem, I've just cut a long strip of crepe paper. Now it has to be big enough to go from the ceiling to the ground, and then just tape it, or tack it, or even staple it onto the back of your decoration. And there it is. And when it's party time, just hang it up. Now it's a good idea to hang it up as high as you can get it. You can hang it from the ceiling. It looks really effective, dangling down. But be careful if you're hanging it high. Better still, get someone tall to do it for you. And then just tuck the stem into the train there, because after all, it is a sneaker weave. And it's lots of different designs you could do. What about doing this sort of wild party animal? It's like a spider really, isn't it? And there's streamers there. Those streamers I've done using bin liners, black bin liners. And what about a ghost? Maybe if you're having a ghost party, a Halloween party, and again the streamers are white bin liners. Or maybe you're not having a party at all. Well, no problems. You could still do yourself a bed bug and just have him hang around your bedroom. Try it yourself. Wild party decoration. Do you know what? I was out shopping the other day for some Christmas presents and I couldn't believe the price of Christmas wrapping up paper. So I made my own. Try this. Take a black bin liner and just cut the bottom of it and then carefully insert your scissors along the edge and cut the side open. And when you open it out, you have a rather large sheet of shiny Christmas wrapping up paper. And then you can, of course, cut it to any size you want, depending on what size your presents are. Now, just take a look at that. I know what you're thinking. It's a little bit dull for Christmas. So you can brighten it up, decorate it yourself using acrylic paint. Now you can use ordinary poster paint, but you will have to mix it with a bit of PVA glue to make it stick to the bin liner. And just take a stiff brush, you can use an old toothbrush, dip it into your paint, and then using the spatter technique, take an old piece of cardboard and just flick little blobs paint onto your bin liner. And look at that. I always think this should be called the splatter technique. There it is. And just cover the whole of your bin liner in these little blobs like that. And you can use different colours. I like using red and green, good Christmassy colour, red and green. In fact, it's everywhere, isn't it, really? And there we are, flicking more paint on, more acrylic paint. And when the acrylic paint dries, it sticks to the bin liner. In fact, it's brilliant acrylic paint. It'll stick to almost anything. And the idea is to cover the whole of your bin liner in a nice thick layer of paint, blobs everywhere. And when it's finished, it should look something like that. Look at that. I think that's a brilliant sheet of Christmas wrapping up paper. And what does it look like on the presents? Look at that. I think that's brilliant. And here's one I've done in gold and silver paint. Look at that. That's fabulous. That's really classy, isn't it? And if you haven't got any paint, try this. A coloured plastic bag. And again, you can cut it to any shape for your present, any shape you like. And what does it look like on the present? Well, I think that looks very posh and shiny, but very expensive, doesn't it? Especially when you finish it off with 4 pedal bin liners, just these flimsy white ones. Just tear them off a roll. Now, obviously, ask if you can take these before you actually tear them off. And just take about 4 of them, 3 or 4 should do it. And just wrap them around the present like that. Put the presents in the middle. Just scrunch the whole thing together. Bend it one way, like that, and then round the back. And then just tie a bow on the top and pull the ends of your bow out to fluff it up a little bit. And look at that. I think that looks fantastic. Of course, the big test is, what do they look like under the tree? Well, there's loads of different coloured plastic bags, different types, different sizes, and different shapes, and you can turn them all into your own Christmas wrapping up paper. Try it yourself, some very expensive looking homemade Christmas wrapping up paper. Are you fed up with the same old run-of-the-mill Christmas decorations? You know what you need? Frosty streamers. Take an A3 size piece of paper and fold it in half once, So that's A3 folded in 3. And then place it so that the folded edge is at the bottom, like that. And then just draw a zigzag explosion right across your paper. Give it about 7 or 8 points on that. And then draw another little one on the inside of that one, like that. But whatever you do, don't let those two zigzag lines touch. And then the idea is to cut this area out and this top area there, and you'll have something that looks like that. And then open it out, and look at this. You have, hey presto, 4 frosty stars. And you can make as many of these as you like. The more you make, the bigger your streamer will be. And when you've got enough for a streamer, say about 20, take one and place it down, and then just dab some glue at the top and at the bottom, and then pop another frosty star on the top. And you notice I'm using 2 different colours here, using blue and white. I think that gives it a good cold frosty effect. And then just dab some glue this time on the side, one side, on the other side, and then a different colour like that. And keep going, just alternating your colours, and very important, alternating where you put your glue. Top and bottom, and then a star, another star, and then your glue goes on the side, and the side, and then the top, another star. And just keep going till you've finished all your frosty stars, and each time you just alternate the colour and where you put the glue. Top, bottom, star, side, side, star, and so on. And when you've used up all your stars, leave it to dry, and then open it out and wait for it. Look at that. There you have this fantastic frosty streamer. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. Better than anything you can buy in the shops, eh? Now that was made using 20 frosty stars. What about this one? This was made using 40 frosty stars. And look at the length of that. You could hang that up absolutely anywhere. And if you haven't got a 3-size piece of paper, you can use smaller paper, and you get smaller stars and thinner streamer. And I think that looks equally as good. And you can use any type of paper you like. What about using coloured sugar paper, or maybe even coloured crepe paper? Plenty of that around this time of year. You could even use newspaper or magazines. And what about using those odd scraps of Christmas wrapping up paper? Okay, there are ways to make your home or even your school look great for a party. But what about making yourself look great? After all, what's a party for unless it's a chance to get dressed up? Well, here are some wonderful ways to get noticed anywhere you go. Great masks from Bedgebury School using tissue paper and PVA glue mixed with a little bit of water. Now, how do you get the shape of the face, I hear you ask? Try a balloon. And you will notice that the balloon has got a smooth surface, and your face has got all these bubbles on it, like your eyebrows, your nose, your mouth, and your chin. But you can make these using plasticine or modelling clay. Now, it's just a case of sticking these with sticky tape onto your balloon, so you get something that looks like that. And then you get an old shoebox, and you press your balloon into the shoebox so it holds it nice and firmly. Then you get some lengths of tissue paper, strips, and you just literally slop on some PVA glue mixed with water. And the idea is to get it onto the face area of the balloon. Again, going over all the modelling clay that you've used. Another strip there. Keep going right over the face, and it doesn't matter if it isn't neat. And again, it doesn't matter about these tasty bits hanging over the edge, because it all adds to the mask effect. Keep going till you've completely covered the face, and then do it another 4 times. So that's 5 times altogether, and you'll find that when it's dry, you leave it overnight, it will look something like that. As you can see, the PVA goes nice and shiny, and if I tap it there, you can see that it's hard. Then, the good bit, I really enjoy doing this. Close your eyes. You burst the balloon, and you take out the balloon, and all this modelling clay from inside, and you are left with this. There it is, your very own tissue paper mask. I think that looks brilliant. Look at that. Of course, you can decorate them, do it any way you want. You could try the stripier some ribbon, and you could go the whole hog and try some sequins, glitter, and ribbon all on one mask. Look what I've discovered. You take one of these thin carrier bags, the type that you get at a supermarket checkout, and you scrunch it up to a sausage shape, thin shape like that, and then fold it round onto your fist, into a loop, and then take some sticky tape, just tap it onto sticky tape. It's a bit tricky, but persevere. Doesn't matter that that bit's sticking out. And then if you take some of this brown paper parcel tape and you soak it in water, now you can lick it if you want to. It tastes fine. It is nice and wet. Doesn't matter if you over soak it. And then you start to wrap it around your loop. There it was, just trapping in the end bits there, threading it around. Really quite tricky to do. That's what's fun to do. Very messy as well. It's a good idea. Do it on some newspaper. Just keep threading it around there, pulling it nice and tightly. When you've run out of paper, just tear yourself another strip off and keep going till you've covered the whole loop in 2 or 3 layers. When you've done that, leave it to one side to dry. And the amazing thing is, when it's dry, it goes absolutely rock solid. Then you can put a design on it. I'm going to use some acrylic paint here. It's best to use acrylic paint. Get some acrylic paint maybe from school, squidgy bottles. Just slush it up to show what's there. You don't have to use paint. You can use some of this coloured paper. Just stick in one of the blue there. Use both of you. Now, you know, I never throw away any paper that get on presents because it's always got this fabulous shiny quality. It doesn't matter if it's covered in glue at this stage. So what you do, just press it on. Leave it to one side to completely dry. Now, when it's completely dry, that's very important, you then just slush on a load of PVA glue. Again, school glue. Now, I keep going on about this stuff, you know, but I think it's brilliant. It looks very messy at this stage. Don't worry, so you've completed your design. Let it dry. Put it in PVA glue. If you leave that to dry overnight, it comes out looking like that. Now, the PVA glue has dried hard with a real shiny finish on it. Look at that. Fabulous piece of designer jewellery. It's a bangle that you can put on your wrist. And if you crunch your paper into different shapes and you wrap the paper tape around that, you can create all these pieces of jewellery. And they were all done with less than £1 worth of brown paper parcel tape that I bought from a stationery shop. You can try other things. Fantastic do-it-yourself t-shirt designs there using fabric paint. Now, I've been doing a spot of my own t-shirt design research to see if there's any alternative to using those specialist fabric paints. And this is what I came up with. Here's a fantastic design that I did using red poster paint. Unfortunately, it all came out in the wash, so poster paint's no good. This was a little bit better, ordinary felt tip pen, but again, the problem was it faded and ran in the wash. This was much better here. Nail varnish using mum's leftovers went on well and survived the wash. The only problem with nail varnish is you can't get many different colours. Unlike acrylic paint, you can get lots of colours, goes on brilliantly and survives the wash. But obviously you don't bull wash any of these. And it was acrylic paint that I used to design my Art Attack t-shirts. And let's face it, they've had a few washes in their time. But the surprise result were these permanent markers and gold pen. If you stick some cardboard inside the t-shirt to stretch it before you do it, it's easier to actually draw onto the cotton. It also protects the back of the t-shirt and stops the ink going through. And the technique here is just to do lightly flicked lines on that. Not too much ink on, otherwise would be unsmooth. Another good tip is to just draw your design in pencil before you apply the permanent marker. And if you make a mistake, you just rub it out before committing to its permanent marker. That's another great thing because they survive the wash. Now obviously, I'll say it again, don't put it on too hot a wash. Use gentle wash. You may find that the t-shirt will fade over time, but then it's just simply a case of going over the original lines with your pencil. There it is. Let's see if there's a design up the top there. And that's it. So there it is. Permanent markers and gold pen definitely get my thumbs up for jazzing up your old t-shirts. Do you ever feel really lazy when you know you've got to send someone a card? Do you just pop round to the corner shop and buy one? Well, don't even bother doing that, because you can make a card yourself that will really stand out amongst all the others sitting on the mantelpiece. And you know me, I never want to miss the chance for a great art attack. Or to save some money. Draw a simple square with a pen. Square. Take a pencil. Draw another square to the right. Slightly back. Just to the way back. Join the corners. There you have a 3D cube. So it's all works for us. So easy to draw. So there we go. So we get it. Go back. And then this time I'm going to go a bit to the left, slightly down. Inches. Yes. Again, join the top, the bottom, sides. Here we have a 3D cylinder. Now the truth is, this works for almost any shape, and it's a great technique to use for drawing a 3D block letter. Watch this. I'm going to draw a T. It's a block T. Pencil. Go slightly to the right. Slightly high. Again. Overlapping. Just have to overlap. A little further away. Join these corners. And there it is. A block T. And when you've got it to this stage, you can rub out all the pencil lines, which you've actually done over the outside lines. You don't have to rub the lines, because just clear out. This works best if you've got a darker pen. I'm going to use this light out much colour just so you can see the original lines. See what I'm doing. On the side, on the top edge, choose a different colour. Again, if you use a darker colour, it makes it more shadow. Something lighter. There it is. A blue letter. Of course, there's another way that you can do blue lettering. Using one of these, I call this a 2-in-1 pen. What I've done is I've sellotaped a pencil and a pen together. And you just draw with the both of them, making sure both tips are touching the paper at the same time. So, this is most important. The pen touches the paper. So I'm actually drawing with the pen. The pencil is drawing itself. Draw the pencil lines. The pen. These edges. Edge. You just see the top of the tape. Well, we've done all the outside lines. Just colour it in however you like. Maybe letter it. It looks brilliant when you put words together for posters. Brilliant when you do it on greetings cards. take an envelope and carefully tear apart the blue joints. Open it out and then mark along the edges where the glue was. Bring in a coloured double-page spread comic, put the envelope back on top, and then just carefully use it to draw which side of the comic to draw on. We'll be using it although you can use the one side. Do this with the paper, all the paper, any side of it. There it is. Oh, you have cut that out, and you'll have something that looks like it. And fold it back again to the original shape. Same pieces. Multi-coloured comic strip envelope. Looks really good. And let's face it, if that came through your letterbox, it'd certainly give your eyeballs a shock. But I haven't finished yet. You can also make some great greetings cards to go inside the envelopes. Make a card out of thin card or thick paper, and make it so it's the right size to go inside the envelope. And on the front, stick a picture of your comic, preferably a big picture, so it covers almost the whole of the front of your comic. Take a piece of paper and draw on it 2 speech bubbles or balloons. Because you can cut them out so you have a shape something like that. Then with glue on the back. What we can do to show it. Just card, the speech bubble coming out of the characters. And then you can take a pencil pen and just gently go around the edges of your speech bubble. So the characters can have the active line. Just to give it a professional finish. Go around the outside of your comic. And use a ruler. Doesn't matter if the lines are not left straight. And I've used a lot of space in comics, which is zip and wacky. And use the speech bubble to run and there you have a multicoloured comic strip card and matching envelope. There's a good art attack, but you need to watch this very carefully. Take a sheet of drawing paper and fold it in half one way and then in half again the other way, just matching up the edges, creasing them like that. So you have a sort of greeting card, and then on the inside draw a line down the middle just to remind you which is the inside of the card, and you'll see why I'm doing that in a minute. Then open the card out and fold it again in half, keeping that inside line still on the inside. There we go. Half again. So that inside line is somewhere in that fold. And then mark a point halfway along that line, roughly there, for that to be spot on. And then draw a line that goes a quarter of a way into the card, like that. And then snip a slot in it, like that. And then fold back that flap to there, and the opposite flap to there. And then fold them both back to the middle again, and then turn it over and do the same on the other side. Fold that back to there, that back to there, creasing it well every fold. Put the two of them back into the middle again, and then start the whole thing from the beginning. Remake your card with the inside line on the inside, so you then have something that looks like that. You've got your line with those two flaps in the middle. And then the tricky bit. Stick your finger inside the card and just try to poke your finger up through those two flaps, like that, and then just pull them back on themselves. And as you're pulling the flaps back, the card will start to close itself, and then trap the flaps in with your hand, close the card on them, and press really hard to crease those flaps. And you then have something that looks like that. And then just draw a picture, a face on the inside, using that slot as the mouth. So, let's see if you can guess what it is I'm drawing. The old wide mouth frog. Just drawing it very roughly to start with. If you can paint it up neatly, you can rub out that line. When you've done that, you'll have something that looks like that. A novelty greeting card. And let's face it, there's lots of different designs you could try. How about designing a Halloween card? Or a birthday card? Sings at you. I'm not going to sing that. Are you fed up with seeing the same old Christmas cards in the shops? Then send someone a surprise Christmas card. And what's in it? It's a surprise. Just take a piece of thin card or thick paper and cut it so that its length is 3 times its width, and then divide it into 3 equal sections and draw lines across it like that, and then score across the lines. And the best way to score is to take a pair of scissors, keep them closed, and then tape them closed like that, just for safety. Put some sticky tape around them, keep them firmly closed, and then take a ruler, lay it on your line like that, and then just score down the line along the ruler's edge, just pressing firmly into your card. And do the other one in exactly the same way, like that. Scissors are safely taped closed, and then put them to one side and fold this section into the middle like that, fold it into place, and then this section into the middle as well, and just press that into place, so that you have those two sections folded on top of each other. And then you need to divide those sections in half. Now, you can measure it accurately. I'm just going to guess it here. It does have to be accurate. Draw a line down the middle of each of those sections, like that. Or each of those flaps it is, really, isn't it? And then score down those lines. Again, with the scissors, just pressing firmly into the card, and holding the ruler position like that. It just makes folding so much easier. And then fold these two flaps back on themselves there like that, and then this one in exactly the same way like that. So you end up with something that looks like that. Look at that, those two flaps folded back on themselves, and you have that funny shape there. And the idea is to draw your Christmas design across those two flaps. Now, as this is the Art Attack Christmas cracker, I'm going to draw a Christmas cracker. And you can do it very roughly in pencil to start with. You can make your alterations and corrections in pen. I'm just doing it very rough, because I'm going to paint it up in a minute. Just drawing a rough cracker shape, and just make sure that the shape is the same, or your design is the same on either side. Just put a couple of lines in there, bands around the cracker, and then you can paint it using poster paint or acrylic paint. I've just got some ordinary poster paint here, ready-made poster paint. Just slopping it on here to show you. Again, you can do it more neatly. Just put the red bits, the frills, let's do the pull the cracker, and do the whole thing, decorate the whole cracker, neaten it up, and then cut this section out, and this section, and this section, and this section. And when you've cut those 4 sections out, and you've decorated it on the front, it looks something like that. Look at that, painted that cracker up nice and neatly, and I've gone around the edges in black permanent marker, and I've even put some gold snowflakes on this back bit just to neaten it up and make it look nice and fancy for Christmas. And then open it out like that, and continue your Christmas design in the middle. So there's a bit more of my cracker, and that's where it's snapped, where it's been broken. Again, there, like that, and then do a nice big explosion. Like that, and then again, here. And I'm doing the whole thing in pencil, as you notice, just so I can alter it if I make a mistake. And then just write your Christmas message in there. Have a cracking, you have a joke, Christmas. Again, just doing it in rough, because I'm going to paint it, decorate the whole thing. And when you've decorated it and done it all neatly, you'll have something that looks like this on the outside, and again, with the poster paint on the inside. Look at that. Have a cracking Christmas. So when you send it to someone, they open it like that, and they get the surprise of their life. And there's loads of different Christmas designs you could try. How about something like this? Look at that. Little Christmas angel singing away. You open it up, and there's the whole choir in there. Sing Happy Christmas. But what about this? This is my favourite, this one. Look at this. You've got Rudolph there. Again, it's the same on either side. You pull his antlers, and there's all those lovely prezzies inside. Merry Christmas. Alright, come on, let's admit it. I'll bet that your heart skips a beat at the thought of opening presents. You know, tearing through all that brightly coloured paper? Yeah, of course it does. We all feel like that. But you know what I think? If you're going to receive great presents, it's only fair to give great presents. And it just so happens I've got a few ideas that might just help you out. Take a look at this. The Mona Lisa. One of the world's most famous pieces of Italian art, you know. Do you know what I like best about this? The frame. That's Italian too. Believe it or not, it's made out of pasta. Come on, have a look at this. Take the picture that you want to frame and just draw around it onto some cardboard. Now, the best cardboard for this is cardboard box cardboard. It doesn't have to be neat, just go around the edge of your picture. So you have something that looks like that. And take a pasta shape. Now, there are lots of different types of pasta that you can get from the supermarket. I'm going to take one of these bow shapes here and just put it on your line and mark the edge of the pasta. See, you're sort of measuring the width of the pasta and go all the way around 4 lines. Just make it 2 dots. Okay. And then join those points up. Go all the way around till you have a frame shape. And cut that out. Now if you have difficulty cutting cardboard, just whip the lines with a little bit of water. It makes them easier to cut. And when you cut it out, you have something that looks like that. Look at that, a frame shape. And take a piece of paper and cut it so that it fits exactly on the back of your frame shape. But I'm not going to put it on just yet, just leave it to one side. The next thing to do is take some PVA glue. This is my favourite glue, this grey stuff. It's the stool glue, the white stool glue that you get in those big squeegee bottles, and just slap it onto your cardboard shape. Nice. Look at that. I'm just going to do one side just to show you what I'm doing. Make the glue really thin, just load it with that there. A bit more on this edge. You can go all the way around your cardboard. And then take your pasta shapes, just carefully press it into position in the glue, and then another one, and line that up underneath the first one, and then just keep going all the way around your cardboard frame, pressing the pasta shapes one underneath the other into the glue. And you go all the way around, leave it to dry overnight. The next morning you will have something that looks like that. And look at that. Your frame is beginning to take shape. And then you can paint it. Paint it any colour you like. If you use poster paint or even acrylic paint. And when you've painted it, if you leave it to dry, you can slap on a layer of PVA glue afterwards, and it gives it that great shiny effect. Then just take your backing paper and your original picture, and I'm just going to put a line of glue on the top of your picture best way to frame a picture, just a line of blue on the top there, so then you don't have to cover the whole of the back of the picture. So if you want to reframe it, you can always take it out there. So press that on, and then some glue all the way around the edge of the backing paper. Again, I'm just doing this really quickly to show you that you can take some time and care over it. That's it. And then it's simply a case of pressing your pasta frame into place. Just line it up, and there you have a pasta framed picture. And there are loads of different types of pasta you can use, and paint them any colour you like. Do them any size you like, and make them as fancy as you like. Try it yourself. Pasta frame. Hey, look at these fantastic old books I've found. Look at this. 100 years old. 150 years old. And what about this? I made it yesterday using one of these boring old writing books. Come and have a look at this. Take a book, any book you like. It can be one of those fluffy exercise books, or it can even be a hardback writing book. I take some strips of Luro and just lay them on top of your book, like that, and then mix some PVA glue, 2 parts glue to 1 part water, and soak the glue onto your book and onto the Luro. Just sticking the Luro down on top of the book as you go. And you see what happens here? The Luro soaks up all the glue and sticks it to the book. I'll just do a quick strip here to show you, but you should cover the whole of the front of your book and the back of your book. It's also a good idea to do the inside of the book. I'll show you why. There it is. Now the idea is to get this as flat as possible. I'll just do those 2 to show you. It doesn't matter if you've still got some crinkles in it, because that will add to the whole effect. Now when you've covered your book, leave it to dry overnight, and you should have something that looks like that. The reason I ask you to do the inside cover as well is because it stops it moving outwards as the book is drying. And then your book is ready to do your design. Now you can do any design you like. I'll show you a couple in a minute, but I'm going to design an old ancient diary. Now, lots of those old books have sort of very ornate hinges on them. I'm just going to block that in very roughly to start with. One there, maybe one there, like that. You don't have to be neat at this stage. And if it's my diary, then I'm going to put my initial in the book, like that. A lot of those old books had sort of metal tips to protect them at the corners with rivets in. I'll put those in. There. If this is going to be a personal diary, then I'm going to put a lock on it. So let's put lock there, like that, with a keyhole. And when your design is done, take some more strips of blue paper or tissue paper, and this time dip them in the PVA mixture with your fingers, squeeze out the excess like that, look at that, a bit messy, so it's a good idea to put the newspaper down, and just use this pulp to build up your design into 3D relief, just pressing on little both of your fingers like that, and moulding it as you go. And build up the whole of your drawn design, and leave that to dry overnight, and when it's dry, you'll have something that looks just like that. Look at that. And the PVA glue and toilet roll has gone all hard and stiff on the front of your book. And then paint your design. Now you can paint it with a poster paint or acrylic paint. But look what I've discovered. This stuff, boot polish. You can just rub on some ordinary boot polish on the front of your book, just rubbing it in, so all the cracks and pieces like that. And it just goes into all those creases and gives this great sort of old leather effect. And this is just ordinary brown tan shoe polish you get from any shoe shop. Go over the whole of your book. When you've covered your book, paint the metal bits, and you can paint them white or silver, or better still, use one of these things, a gold and silver pen. And that will actually go over just about anything you want. So you can go over the boot polish there. Square that little edge nice. Just going over all my little bits. Again, I'll just do that roughly to show you. And when you've done the whole of your design, you can always go around it, pen and marker to make it more bold. I'd like to introduce you to 15 good friends of mine. There they are. Come and have a look at this. Have you used any of this stuff? It's that clay that hardens by itself. You can get it from most good toy shops or craft stores. And the great thing is you don't need to put it into an oven to harden it. Just tear a clump of it off and roll it in the palm of your hand into a ball and just keep rolling it to get it nice and smooth, get all the impurities. And when it's smooth, just hold it about 20 centimetres above a flat surface and let it drop gently. And it just flattens the bottom. Then take a pen or pencil and just tweak a little hole in the centre of the top. And just push in some water. Just into the hole, just to dampen it. And then just take another pinch of your clay and roll that onto the sausage. And then just place it into the hole in the centre, and the water sort of binds it and acts as a glue. Take your pen, and again squeeze another hole into one side of the sausage, another hole on the other side. That's it close together. And then just turn it around so you can see what I'm doing. Yes, you've guessed it. Just underneath the sausage or the nose, just scratch in. And there he is, one of my very best friends. And what type of friend is he? Yeah, he's a pen friend. Just stick the pen in about 3 centimetres and give it a little twiddle so it won't hold it. Put your pen out and then leave it to dry overnight. I'll just say it again, you don't need to put it into an oven because it will harden by itself. The next morning, it will have gone rock solid. And then you can paint it. Now I'm just going to use some poster paint here. You can use acrylic paint and just mix this to a sort of pink colour. I'm just going to splash it on here just to show you. I'm not tapping to be neat. Yes, just turn it all on. And you put some poster paint all over it, just cover it. You leave it to dry. When it's dry, you can give it a coat of this PLVA glue. And it's just ordinary school glue. It's that white stuff. And when you paint it on, it looks a real mess. It looks all white and creamy. But when it dries, it goes clear and shiny and rock hard. Look at that. There he is. A pen friend who can hold on to your best pen. After all, what are pen friends for? The great thing about pen friends is you can make as many different types as you like. And why not give them away as presents? In fact, you can make at least 15 pen friends from a £5 block of clay. That's less than 35p for a pen friend. Try it yourself. Couple of minutes, I'm going to show you how to save a fortune in pocket money. Take a piece of paper as big as you can get, any colour you like, any type of paper, and with a felt tip pen, draw a big cross down the middle. And again, the felt tip pen can be any colour, but I like to use red felt tip on white paper. It doesn't have to be neat, draw a cross, and then in these top 2 sections, draw loops that join the middle. So one loop there, another loop there. And then in the bottom 2 sections, draw long, thin triangles that also join the middle. One there, and one there. When you've done that, colour the whole thing in, and you'll have something that looks like that. Then take a gold or silver pen and start to decorate it. Now you can do anything you like to decorate it, but I'm just going to draw dots on it just to show you. And just decorate all of the red that you've drawn, and then very important, just draw a circle in the middle like that. Any idea what it is yet? No, I'm not going to tell you yet. Then, this might reveal it, just draw gold lines down the edge of all the red, like that. So all the red that you've done, go around it in gold. And when you've finished it, you'll have something that looks just like that. Yes, you've guessed it. It's a bow. Now I want to make my bow look real, and I want it to stand out from the paper. So just watch this. This is a good little tip. There's an L shape that I've drawn, and to make that look 3D and stand out from the paper, I'm just going to draw a black line with a thick black felt tip pen down the left-hand side, and also down the bottom edge. And there it makes it look 3D, as if it's got a shadow behind it, and it's standing out from the paper. Now we need to do this with the bow. So just bring that back in. I'm looking for all the left hand and bottom edges on the bow. Give it a shadow. So there's a left hand edge. Going all the way down there. And here's a bottom edge. Again, go all the way across. And you can take a bit more time over this. I'm just going to put things to shape. And then when you get to the bow, again looking for the left hand and bottom edges. Draw in your shadow, and even draw a shadow on the middle. Left hand edge, bottom edge. Now when you've done that, take your red felt tip pen again and draw a rectangle in this bottom right hand section. Go around that in gold, all the way around, and decorate the red line the same way you decorated the bow. Give it a shadow, so left hand edge, and the bottom edge, and then with a thin felt tip pen, write on it a message. Draw a little circle and some string to another watch that. There you have it. So do yourself gift wrapping complete with a gift tag. And what do you use it for? You use it to wrap up your presents. Try it yourself. Very easy to do, looks incredibly stylish, and just think of all the money you're saving. So there you are, that's all for this video, but hold on, whoa, look at this lot. Do look out for the other videos in the series, won't you? So I hope I've given you enough ideas to prepare for every party you're going to go to with complete confidence, whether you're holding one yourself or going to someone else's. And remember, the key to a good party is preparation. And hopefully, with some of those ideas, and of course some of your own, you too can become a real party animal. Ta-ra!